Hi, I'm Dwayne Marino, and this motivational tip is called jealousy. I had a life-changing lunch a few years ago with Joe Girard. Every time I meet with him, he's got a different message for me in some way, somehow. I'm not even sure if he's really aware that he's doing that, but he's somebody I admire, I look up to, and he's got a certain way of presenting things that I've never really quite heard anybody else have. Just a unique way of giving me stuff to consider in my life, and I call these tips that I'm giving you in some cases, sort of a message in the bottle. They might not apply directly all the time, but there is a message behind every single one of them. I was having lunch with him and his wife, Kitty, in Detroit at the bottom of the General Motors Towers there, right by the Detroit River. There's an Italian restaurant there where he likes to frequent. And we're just eating lunch, and he's having his pasta, and I'm having mine, and his wife's eating whatever she's eating. And he turns over to me, kind of looks at me, and he grabs my hand, much like my father or my grandfather maybe would have. And as he grabs my hand, he kind of gives it a bit of a squeeze. He starts to almost turn red, and he looks pretty upset. And he goes, Marino, do you have the disease? And that was it. And I'm looking at him, and I'm not sure what to say, and I didn't know what he was talking about. And he was upset. It looked like he was going to almost cry, actually. And then he goes back to eating his lunch. And then a good minute or two went by, and I didn't say anything. I didn't know where to go with it. I didn't want to look silly and ask a question to him. I thought maybe I was supposed to know what he meant. So I looked to his wife, and I said, Kitty, I said, I'm sorry. I don't understand. What does he mean? What's the disease? And she goes, oh, Dwayne, you don't know what the disease is? I go, no. And she goes, well, I'll tell you, it's taken out a lot of people out of our lives. Lots of people have kind of passed away or passed on due to the disease. And she says, I can tell you, based on what I'm seeing here with you and where your life is headed, if it hasn't hit you already, it's probably going to show up at some point, and it's awful. It's an ugly, ugly thing. And I go, well, what is it? She goes, it's jealousy. And I just kind of stopped. And I said, wow. And I turned to him, and I said, Joe, you don't know me that well yet. We've not done business yet together. And I said, but you're going to find this out clearly. And anybody that deals with me personally understands this. I said, Joe, I don't have the disease. As a matter of fact, I admire success. Extremely. And what I want to do is not only not be jealous of success, you or anyone else that's more successful than I am. All I want to do is really study you and learn from you. I want to take a little piece of you or a little piece of the next person I meet at my next seminar or someplace in my personal life, and I want to take them with me. And jealousy has no place in my nervous system, my heart, or my head. I literally can't relate to it. So here's the problem with jealousy. Jealousy blinds you from how these people are actually being successful. You actually are kind of, robbing them from all their hard work and efforts that they put in to get wherever they're getting that you think maybe, you should have. If you're motivated to, do better so you can buy the bigger home on the street or the biggest boat, believe me, there's going to be some neighborhood you're going to drive through, has a bigger house. Some boat's going to pull up beside you or, dock in the slip beside you. It's got a bigger, nicer boat. It is impossible to keep up based on sort of physical, materialistic benchmarks. We can't compete with other people. But who you compete with is yourself. I guess the point is, you don't want to be jealous of other people and you don't want to compete with anybody else, but you like to learn from successful people for sure, admire it, give credit where credit is due, which is what I do constantly. Go to my website. However, you want to compete with yourself and every day get a little bit better than what you were yesterday. I really hope that if you have any jealous people in your life, you find some way to deal with that, compartmentalize them, get to a point. I've got some other tips here. You can't eliminate everybody out of your life, but there's other little ways you can reframe them, where maybe they're not quite so hurtful or painful for you. But if you've got any jealous people in your life, believe me, they're not in your corner. They're not on Team Dwayne or Team Joe or Team Jill or Team Habib or Team Hang or whatever your name is. They're not in your team. Somehow, some way, you got to find how you can sort of, put those people in their place mentally, emotionally, or avoid them. And please, I ask you this. Do not get jealous of anybody else and you perceive as doing a better job than you or has a bigger home or making more money. Find out how they got that if you want it, and then copy and emulate those things. So please, I'm praying for you to have a disease-free life for yourself personally and the people around you. But believe me, jealousy is very much a disease. And I had a conversation this morning on the phone here with a salesperson that's very successful, does 400 cars a year, and he was talking about how he doesn't always get the support that he should get, he thinks, from the dealership or the people around that work with him. He was giving me examples of how actually things are sometimes made difficult for him. And he goes, I hate to say, that they're jealous or whatever else. And I stopped him and I said, let me tell you, they are. And it's awful to say that, but they probably are, and that's just life. You have to deal with it. Let's hope for a disease-free life in all ways, including jealousy. I'm Dwayne. Use this tip. Think about it in your life for the next 7 days, and I'll see you on the next exercise or the next tip. Thank you.